Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nadira Riandani and I'm from FBD. In this video, I like to present about interpretation of data in research methodology subject. Now I will begin with the definition by expert. Kruger 1994 stated that interpretation involves attaching meaning and significance to analysis, explaining descriptive patterns, and looking for relations, shape, and linkages among descriptive dimensions. Once these processes have been completed, the researcher must report his or her interpretations and conclusions. In general, data interpretation is the process of reviewing data through some predefined processes which will help assign some meaning to the data and arrive at relevant conclusions. Data interpretation methods are how analysts help people make sense of numerical data that has been collected, analyzed, and presented. Data, when collected in raw form, may be difficult for the layman to understand, which is why analysts need to break down the information together so that others can make sense of it. There are two main methods in which this can be done, namely quantitative methods and qualitative methods. Quantitative data interpretation method refers to a set of processes by which numerical data is analyzed. More often than not, it involves the use of statistical modeling such as standard deviation, mean, and frequency distribution. As you can see, when dealing with a dataset, a mean will represent a central value of a specific set of numbers. It is the sum of the value divided by the number of values within the datasets. For example, online job board in the United States use the data collected from a group of registered users to estimate the salary paid to people of particular profession. The estimate is usually made using the average salary submitted on their platform for each profession. Second is standard deviation. Standard deviation reveals the distribution of the responses around the mean. It describes the degree of consistency within the responses together with the mean. It provides insight into data sets. In the job board example it highlighted before, if the average salary of writer in the United States is $20,000 per annum and the standard deviation is 5.0, we can easily deduce that the salary for the professional are far away from each other. This will birth other questions like why the salary deviate from each other that much. With this question, we may conclude that the sample contains people with few years of experience, which translates to a lower salary, and people with many experience, translating a higher salary. However, it doesn't contain people with mid-level experience. The third is frequency distribution. This technique is used to assess the demography of the respondents or the number of times a particular response appears in research. It is extremely keen on determining the degree of intersection between data points. Next is other interpretation processes of quantitative data. There are regression analysis. Regression analysis generates an equation to describe the statistical relationship between one or more predictor variables and response variables. Second is cohort analysis, is comparison of behavior and metrics of different subsets cohort over time, can identify the highest performing cohorts and factors driving the success. And the last one is predictive and prescriptive analysis. Predictive analytic sets the stage by producing the raw material for making more sound and informed decisions, while prescriptive analytic produce an array of decisions options to weigh against each other and ultimately make the one that has the greatest impact on the business. The next one is qualitative data interpretation method. Qualitative data is usually gathered using a wide variety of person-to-person techniques, which may be difficult to analyze compared to quantitative research methods. Typically, narrative data is gathered by employing a wide variety of person-to-person techniques. These techniques include observation, document, and interview. Observation is detailing behavioral patterns that occur within an observation group. These patterns could be the amount of time spent in activity and type of activity that and the method of communication employed, while document is much like how of behavior can be observed. Different types of documentation resources can be coded and divided based on the type of material they contain. And the last is interview, one of the best collection methods for narrative data. Inquiry responses can be grouped by theme, topic, or category. The interview approach allows for highly focused data segmentation. The next slide is about visualization techniques. Visualization makes easy for a layman to understand the data and also encourage people to view the data as it provides a visually appearing summary of data. The first one is bar graph. Bar graph are graphs that interpret the relationship between two or more variables using rectangular bars. The graph contains the horizontal axis with symbol X and the vertical axis with symbol Y, with the former representing the independent variable while the latter is the dependent variable. There are some types of graphs such as group bar graph, stacked bar graph, and segmented bar graph. And the next is P chart. A P chart is a circular graph used to represent the percentage of occurrence of a variable using sectors. The size of each sector is dependent on the frequency of percentage of the corresponding variables. There are different variants of the pie chart, such as simple pie chart, donut pie chart, and 3D chart. The next one is table. Tables are used to represent statistical data by placing them in row and column. They are one of the most common statistical visualization techniques and are of two main types, namely simple and complex table. Simple tables summarize information on a single characteristic and may also be called unvariate table, while complex table summarize complex information and represent them in two or more intersecting categories. And the last one is line graph. Line graph or chart are a type of graph that displays information as a series of points, usually connected by a straight line. Some of the types of line graph are highlighted. There are several types of line graph such as simple line graph with marker, and stack line graph. Okay, I think it's all about my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.